A Bank Information Guide. Chapter 1. Practical Bank Matters 1. Banking Information. Banks are competitive. They offer different deals to prospective customers. For the best overall deal, get a bank account with a small local bank for better service. Check your yellow pages. If you travel a lot and want access to free ATMs, go with a large national bank. Either way, the FDIC, at fdic.gov, insures every personal bank account up to $250,000. Credit unions are the best deals of all. Some are open to the public. Some aren't. There are online banks too which offer the best deals in terms of higher savings account interest rates, free ATM usage, low or no fees, etc. Banks are the safest places to keep money except when the government wants it for taxes or something else like fines. They'll take it. Creditors and lawsuit judgment collectors will take it too. The safest place is still to keep cash buried in your basement. Banks are in business to make money by lending money to consumers and business people. They are for-profit institutions. The banks loan money in return for the repayment of the principal plus interest over a set period of time. Banks create money out of nothing when they make loans through a system called fractional banking, which means they can loan many times more money than they have in savings accounts on record. That's why bankers are very rich and control the world. Banking is highly regulated by both state and federal laws that apply to banking transactions. There are generally 4 types of bank accounts: savings accounts, checking accounts, linking accounts, joint accounts. With a savings account, you save your money, possibly get a low interest rate on it and can't write checks on it. Some banks charge a fee for opening a savings account. You can get an ATM card which will permit you to take money out at ATM machines. Some savings accounts offer a high interest rate if you keep a minimum balance like $1,000 or more. A certificate of deposit, CD, is not an account. You agree to put a specific amount of money away for a certain amount of time, 3 months or longer, for the highest interest rate around. If you withdraw your money before then, there will be a sizable penalty, more than likely most of the interest earned. A checking account is an account that you can write checks on to pay your bills or for other things you buy. There is usually a monthly fee or it's free if you keep a minimum balance. Some of them offer a low interest rate for keeping your money there. Anytime you write a check and you don't have the money in your checking account to cover it, the check will bounce and you will be charged $20 or more for doing this. Some banks have a service called overdraft protection, which means that if you write a check for which you don't have enough money to cover in your account, if it's a reasonable amount, the bank will let the check clear and charge you what they lent you plus interest and a fee for doing this for you, the bounced check fee. A linking account is an account that combines a savings and checking account. You earn interest on the money in the savings account but don't earn any interest on the money in your checking account. You shift your money between these accounts when and as you need it. The reasoning is that you keep it in the savings account to collect interest when you don't need it, then transfer it to the checking account when you need to write checks. A joint account is an account you open with your spouse, a business partner, friend, or other relative. Both people have equal signing rights to the money. Either of you can deposit or withdraw money without needing the signature of the other account holder. I generally don't use banks except for a free checking account to pay my bills and get cash through my free ATM card withdrawals. I generally keep most of my money with a discount brokerage, and every 6 months or so I sell enough stocks to keep me going for the next 6 months, write a check on it and put the money into my bank checking account. Some people pay $40 or more a month for banking fees, which is unnecessary. I never write bad checks, so I don't need automatic overdraft protection privileges, but if you live near the wire, check around at different banks for their bounced check, non-sufficient fund/NSF fees, because over time things could add up. Other than that, unless you need a loan, don't use bank services like their sales of CDs, mutual funds, etc. They're all overpriced. Deal with a discount brokerage and cruise internet banks, without brick-and-mortar buildings of business, for deals on CDs because they give the best interest rates. Banks have many hidden fees to screw the customer, like ATM fee, fee to see a live teller, fee if account is under a minimum balance, check writing fee per check or monthly, check printing fees, withdrawal fees, insufficient fund fee/overdraft protection. Most banks charge at least $20 for a bounced check. If you're close to bouncing a check but don't know the exact amount in your checking account, don't write the check. Either wait, use a credit card or pay cash for your purchase. Banks with overdraft protection will often give you the money you're withdrawing from an ATM machine even if you're short in your account for a $10 fee or so. It's another way for them to make easy money. On top of the person writing the bad check getting charged for it, the bank will also charge the business or person an extra fee who the check is made out to who deposits it. These hassles cost the bank maybe $1 to correct the problem, yet they often make up to 40 times that, charging both the check writer and receiver a $20 fee each. If you default on paying the fees for a bounced check, the bank will close your account down, put your name in a database banks use similar to credit reporting agencies such that other banks will check it out and refuse you a new checking account for several years after, plus the bank will hound you for the unpaid money. Hire a collection agency and put your name in a CRA proclaiming you a credit risk. Some tenets of the Truth in Savings Act are as follows. The Act requires financial institutions to disclose the annual percentage yield, or APY, on savings accounts. The APY tells you how much money you would earn if you kept $100 in the account for 1 year. Requires that the institution credit your entire deposit instead of crediting a portion of your deposit or using a low balance per month method. This increases your earnings. Requires that institutions have available a list of their fees for bounced checks, stop payment orders, certified checks, wire transfers, or similar items. Ask for the list. Prohibits institutions from advertising free checking if there are hidden charges or requirements, for example, having to maintain a minimum balance to qualify. If you suspect that your bank is in trouble, ask either them or your state banking office for a copy of their twice-a-year published call report. If they have high expenses and low loan recovery rates, you know they're in trouble. If you have lots of money, spread it out in several different banks. You can save more than $100 a year in fees by selecting a checking account with a minimum balance requirement that you can, and do, meet. Banking institutions often will drop or lower checking fees if paychecks are directly deposited by your employer. Direct deposit offers the additional advantages of convenience, security, and immediate access to your money. For an alternative to checking accounts, check out the section on money market funds or start an account with a discount brokerage that gives you checking privileges. Before you buy certified or cashier's checks at the bank, some of which cost from $5 to $10, consider a money order at the post office for 75 cents or one at the corner store for about $1. Before opening a savings or investment account with a bank or other financial institution, find out whether the account is insured by the federal government. An increasing number of products offered by these institutions, including mutual funds and annuities, are not insured. Once you select a type of savings or investment product, compare rates offered by different institutions. These rates can vary a lot and, over time, can significantly affect interest earnings. If you lose your checkbook and a check is forged in your name, you are generally not liable. It is the responsibility of the bank to know the depositor, but beware and report it as soon as possible. As a general rule of thumb, the Federal Reserve Board wants interest on the gross national product to stay in the 3 to 4% range. It lowers rates if GNP growth approaches 2% and raises them if the growth starts to grow to around 6%. A general bad deal is to get funds automatically withdrawn from your bank account to pay monthly bills for 2 reasons. Your balance could fall below the monthly bill, in which case you have a NSF, non-sufficient funds, charge. When you want to cancel this arrangement, the company you're dealing with will often ignore your letter or phone call, keep charging you monthly fees for another month or 2, then plead ignorance when you contact them and not give you a refund. Just cancel it then. This happened to me with a public gym and a utilities company. By then, you're so angry and tired of the deal that you just want an end to it, and the hassle to collect those extra monthly fees you inadvertently paid out due to their negligence will not be worth it, so you'll forget it while they'll be laughing at you while pocketing your money. Shop around for banks and credit unions that allow you to have a check card and pay no fees on the account. Some financial institutions also allow you to have sub-accounts with their own billing record. These are designed for one of your children, car payments, house payments, etc. Books about banks are at number 332.1097 or HG2491V at the library. Opening a bank account. There are 5 different types of financial institutions. Small local bank. National bank chain. Savings and loans. Credit unions. Investment brokerage. There are several types of bank accounts. Basic checking, account to pay bills, fee charged unless you maintain a minimal balance of about $1,000. If you can maintain $1,000, you can get an interest-bearing checking account which will pay some interest. Savings account, no checks, just ATM card. Money market account, open an account with a brokerage like Ameritrade or E-Trade. In order to open a bank account in the United States, you have to show at least 2 pieces of ID plus your social security number before they'll open one, because they don't want people to launder money or hide it from the tax people. If you're under 18, you can't open a bank account. You probably need some proof of address like a phone bill, driver's license, etc. Many accounts have a minimum balance, which means that you have to keep a certain minimal amount of money in there all the time. If your account goes below that minimum balance, they will charge you a fee and take it out of your money in the account. Some accounts charge you a monthly fee for opening an account and using their services, but many are free, particularly if you keep a minimum balance in it like $1,000 or more. Some banks charge a fee for using the ATM, but the good ones offer this service for free. Proximity to you is one reason to pick a bank close to you, but there is also the issue of reputation. How long has it been around doing regular business, and does it offer any type of free checking account? Your 3 choices are: a large regional or national bank with many branches, a smaller, local bank, an online bank. The advantages of a large chain bank is that they are stable and have many branches with ATMs where you can withdraw money, usually for free if you have an account with them. The small local bank is competing with the big banks for business, so you might get your best chance for a free checking account there. You still have to pay for your own checks though. Online banks don't have the overhead of the other banks, so they will give you a free account. The only problem is that in order to get cash, you need to use an ATM machine, which limits you to only a few $100s a day unless you call them to make special arrangements. Look around at wingspanbank.com for a look at how an online bank operates. Try to find a checking account with most or all of the following features. No monthly service fee. No minimum balance, hard to find, often require a minimum balance of $1,000 in order to forego the monthly service fee. No ATM fees as long as you use your bank's ATM machines. No charge for either writing or depositing every check. Free checks, at least when you sign up. After that, buying checks by mail order from other companies is cheaper than buying your checks from your bank. In a nutshell, the smaller the bank, the better the service. Banks make a lot of money on service fees while offering the lowest rates around for use of your money. Before you open a checking account, find out what the fees will be for writing checks, for bounced checks, for the checks themselves, and for other services. Ask for their list of services, see what they offer for free, like free traveler's checks, etc. Compare several banks in your area, then decide on where to keep your account. Get overdraft protection on your checking account. Ask if the institution will send you the cancelled checks with your monthly statement. If not, find out the cost for copies of cancelled checks. You might need them for proof of payment in some situations. They often have minimum balances on their free checking accounts where they charge you a fee if your balance goes under it, usually $1,000 to $1,500. Most banks charge for a checking account. Some don't. It's your choice to investigate. Simply open your telephone book Yellow Pages to banks and call them. This applies to ATM cards, annual fees on bank credit cards, savings accounts, and everything else. I called several banks in my area and there was a big difference in fees. Some of the bigger banks arrogantly think that the stupid public will automatically pay their service fees. Banks are a competitive business, so you will find smaller banks that will offer you better deals. I will never, ever pay for a checking account. It's bad enough that they're using my money at the ridiculously low interest rates. Don't just blindly go to the first bank that you see and assume they're all the same, because they're not. Carefully select a financial institution by comparing the terms and prices of all of the services you need. Shop around. Do not do business with the first institution that seems willing to do business with you. Check the front door to see if the institution displays a government logo indicating that it is insured federally. Generally, if the institution is insured federally, an individual is covered for up to $100,000 in deposits if the institution fails. To select a bank that is seeking business, simply watch for extended advertising campaigns. They are very costly and must bring in new business in order to be continued. Look also for smaller banks, ones with just a few offices. They tend to be more aggressive, more lenient on qualifications, much friendlier and more personalized in the service they offer. They are forced by the nature of competition to be more flexible. With the small, independent bank, the tellers remember you and do not need to request your identification every time you want to cash a check. Small banks do not have a large loan committee that spends lots of time shuffling papers. They may, however, stall your loan application for a day or so in order not to appear too anxious. Big banks seem to have forgotten that the customer is number one. You will be far more pleased with your small bank and your personalized service when it comes to getting loans and other services for your business. Here are some questions to ask before you open an account anywhere. Is there a monthly fee? Can I get a free account if I keep a minimum balance? What is the fee if I go under that limit? What is the interest rate of my savings account and possibly my checking account? Some offer interest, some don't. Is this account FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, insured? This means that if the bank goes out of business, you will get the value of your account refunded up to the current limit, which is around $60,000. Is there a limit to the amount of deposits, withdrawals, checks, or ATM uses I have per month before fees are tacked on? Is the ATM at this bank free? What is the fee for using an ATM machine that doesn't belong to this bank? Bouncing a check info. If you write a check and there is not enough money in your account to cover it, the check will be returned to you and you will also be charged a NSF/non-sufficient funds fee of between $20 to $35. If you receive a check from someone, deposit it into your account and the check ends up rubber, a lot of banks will slap a $20 to $35 fee for depositing an NSF check. If you get overdraft protection coverage, there's probably a monthly fee for it. Then when you write a check and don't have the money to cover it, the bank covers it and charges you a fee for doing so, about $20 to $35. You can't win with banks. The nickel and dime you to the hilt. Chapter 2. Practical Bank Matters 2. Account Aggregation Service. Some banks offer account aggregation, which allows you to view accounts you hold at other institutions. Mint.com, Wesabi.com, Yodlee.com. Automatic Paycheck Direct Deposit. If you work for a big enough company or organization, go to the Human Resources Department and tell them you want your paycheck directly deposited to your bank account. You'll still get a statement for tax purposes, but the money will be deposited directly in your bank account. It's easy. There are 3 numbers. That's it. Automatic bill paying/electronic bill paying/pay bills online. Your electric company, phone company, etc. can debit your bank account for your monthly bill. Just tell them you want automatic bill paying. You'll still get the statement in the mail. Your bank can probably do this too. Another option is to sign your checking account up for overdraft protection. Your checking account is linked to a credit card or your savings account so that whenever your account is overdrawn, the money needed is pulled from your overdraft protection account, saving you the expensive bounced check fees. The less you have to worry about sending out checks to pay your bills on time, the easier your life is. Electronicpayments.org. For a small fee or free, these companies pay your bills for you. Bills.com, Checkfree.com, Derivion.com, HSBCBillPay.com, DiscoverCard.com, Jackdo.com, LowerMyBills.com, Bills.com, Checkfree.com, BillPay.msn.com, Paytrust.com, Quicken.com, Statusfactory.com, Mastercard.com, MSN.com, PayMyBills.com, Paytrust.com, Quicken.com, Statusfactory.com, Transpointment.com, SurePayroll.com, Zenos.com. Bounce Protection. Bounce protection is similar to an overdraft protection in that they give you a limit up to which you can overdraw on, but instead of treating it like a personal line of credit loan, they charge a fee for every day you don't pay it back, like $10 a day until you pay it off. If you go over your limit, the bank will not cover it and charge you the usual NSF fee. consumerlaw.org/initiative/testa-and-documm/appendix.html. Certificates of Deposit /CDs. Certificates of Deposit, CDs, also called Guaranteed Investment Certificates/GICs, are savings instruments issued by banks and credit unions which pay a reasonable amount of interest in exchange for keeping your money there for a set term, 6 months to 10 years. They are probably the safest investment around next to government securities. They're insured by the FDIC. If you withdraw your money early, there might be a penalty for it. Some banks stopped charging early withdrawal penalties. One way around an early withdrawal penalty is to buy several smaller value CDs rather than one big valued one. Then when you need money, just liquidate one CD. To earn the highest return on savings, annual percentage yield, with little or no risk, consider searching out the highest yielding certificates of deposit nationally. Check out the listings in either the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, the Money Monitor section of Money, or Kiplinger's magazine. Generally, smaller banks have lower expenses than the bigger ones, so they can offer CDs with the highest interest rates. The latter approach to CDs is to not get a long-term one at a fixed interest rate while the rates are low. Renew it every year at the current rate, which you hope will get higher than it is now. Comparison shop for the best rates every year. AmazonRates.com, search for highest certificate of deposit interest rates. BankCD.com, Bankrate.com, Orcsy.com/banking.html, Financial Services Directory. SFNB.com, SFNB.com, Infodesk/CD_info.html, 800-736-2321. TCAFCU.org. Kipelingers.com, SmartMoney.com. Email alerts from your bank account. Your bank account has features on it such that you can get an email alert sent to you if your balance goes under an amount you specify, get a reminder to pay a certain bill, get a reminder when a new deposit clears, etc. Chapter 3. Practical Bank Matters 3. Overdraft Protection Info. Overdraft protection is a system used by banks to help bank customers avoid non-sufficient fees if they accidentally write checks when there is not enough money in their account to currently cover it. They make money from it. Overdraft protection is basically an unsecured personal line of credit, which is a loan with a rate of interest that you have to pay back within a certain amount of time. If you are a homeowner, some overdraft protection plans are tied to a home equity line of credit with your house as collateral. The bank will foreclose if you fail to pay. With unsecured personal lines of credit, banks have some power but not much to go after your assets to satisfy the note if you default in paying them back. Banks generally offer these short-term lines of credit loans to people who ask that have good credit ratings. The amounts of overdraft protection usually falls in the range of $500 to $3,500. There is probably a fee to apply. Think of overdraft protection like a credit card with a limit. If you use some money, your limit goes down. When you pay it back, your limit goes up. Banks and credit unions say they offer overdraft protection as a service to their customers, but they're making money off it by charging a fee to apply for it, then charging interest on the money you actually use. If you want this feature as a part of your account, you will have to apply for it. It's generally not an automatic feature when you set up a checking account. The advantages of having it is that you have a quick loan when you need it and you will save money in bounced check fees. More and more banks are setting up programs for overdraft protection with savings accounts or credit cards. They want to make money from that segment of the population that needs a quick loan to tie them over until payday. Payday or check cashing outlets have been making a handy profit from this segment of the population. The banks want to get in on it too. If you're a low-income person with a steady job and a decent credit record, you could set up a savings account with $1,000 overdraft protection, meaning that even if your bank balance goes to zero, you can get up to a $1,000 loan from the bank through a teller or ATM just by asking for it, and you have X amount of time to pay it off at a certain interest rate, but if you exceed that date, there will be a late fee and probably a higher interest rate. Relationship accounts. Many banks have special accounts for people who invest $10,000 plus into a special account called a relationship account, which is a money management account allowing for the quick movement of money. Some of the minimums are quite high, $100,000 or more. It gives them free checking, no-fee credit card, loan discounts, free checks, free ATM usage at other banks, free safety deposit box, etc. Ask at your local banks. Trust companies also offer this feature as well as brokerage companies. Ask about relationship or money management accounts. Some are: Citibank 800-745-1534, First Union 800-275-3862, Nations Bank 800-628-4667, PNC Premium 800-762-3384, US Trust 800 US Trust, Wachovia Crown 800-922-4684. Torn or damaged money. The Department of Treasury and banks will replace a torn bill if 3/5 or more of the bill is intact. If more than 2/5 but less than 3/5 is intact, they will reimburse you for half of its value. Moneyfactory.gov moneyfactory.com/section.cfm/8/39. U.S. DEPT of Treasury. Office of Currency Standards. 15th St. and Pennsylvania Ave. N.W. Washington, D.C. 20220. 202-622-2000. 202-874-2361. Treasury.gov/USSS/money_damaged.htm. Department of the Treasury. Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Office of Currency Standards. POB 37048. Washington, D.C. 20013. Treasury.gov. Only the U.S. Mint redeems damaged coinage. Treasury.gov/education/FAQ/coins/sales.html # Q4. Mail your damaged coins to U.S. Mint. POB 400. Philadelphia. PA 19106. usmint.gov. Money Market Mutual Fund, MMMF, vs. Money Market Deposit Account, MMDA. A money market mutual fund is sold through a brokerage firm or mutual fund company as an investment. There is no FDIC coverage on it, although there might be some protection through SIPC.org if the company goes bust. Money market mutual funds are generally good because they're safe. You get some interest on them. They're immediately liquid, unlike a CD. There is no service charge for most. Many have free check writing privileges. usually for checks with an amount of $100 or more. A money market deposit account is sold either through a federally insured bank, credit union, or a bank subsidiary of a brokerage or mutual fund company. It is eligible for federally backed insurance if the company goes bust. One way to keep an MMMF that's completely safe is to buy an MMMF that's made up completely of U.S. government treasuries. Ask your financial institution about a U.S. Treasury MMMF. Chapter 4. Account Insurance at American Banks. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation / the bank insurer. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation / FDIC insures and monitors funds at FDIC-insured banks, savings associations, and bank holding companies. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation insures banks, which means that your accounts are covered by the federal government in case the bank fails, usually up to $250,000 per account. They also investigate complaints by customers about FDIC-insured state banks that are not members of the Federal Reserve Board system, and also take complaints against credit card companies. Individual bank accounts are insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation for $250,000 per person with an account, plus an extra $250,000 over and above this for a couple who has a joint account. This amount could have changed in the past year or so. The lesson is, don't keep any more in your bank accounts at any bank that goes over the amount it is insured in case the bank fails / goes bankrupt. The problem starts with retirement savings plans. Many IRAs routinely go over $250,000 over the course of an individual's lifetime. This could be risky because regardless of its value, if the bank fails, all you get is $250,000. Either keep your money at a major bank which doesn't seem likely to fail, or stop the IRA at $250,000 and invest your money elsewhere. Areas of interest to consumers at the agency's website includes its institution directory, a searchable database of every FDIC-insured institution, and an online banks directory of illegal websites that may be misrepresenting themselves as legally chartered. Request a free copy of the booklet, Your Insured Deposit. Call 800-688-3342 for quarterly reports on banks. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Office of Bank Customer Affairs. 550 17th St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20429. 877 esthetic. 800-934-3342. 800-424-5488. 800-234-0867, California region. 800-873-7785, Connecticut region. 800-765-3342, Georgia region. 800-568-9161, Texas region. 202-898-3536. 202-898-6726 voice/TDD. FDIC.gov. myfdicinsurance.gov. FDIC protection. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation is a government institution that insures every individual account at an FDIC-registered bank up to around $250,000, but this figure changes periodically. FDIC insured means all customer bank accounts are protected against catastrophic bank failure and financial loss up to a fairly substantial amount, around $250,000 per account, backed by the credit of the United States government. Checking, savings, and certificate of deposit (CD) accounts invested at traditional and high-interest online banks are the safest places to put your money during turbulent economic times. What is covered are savings and checking accounts, trusts, certificates of deposit, treasury bills, treasury notes, IRA accounts. Mutual funds, stocks, life insurance, and bonds are risk investments. They're not covered. FDIC.gov/ED, FDIC insurance on bank accounts. See DARS.com, DARS, free service to get FDIC insurance on deposits over $100K. FDIC.gov/ED/index.html, a tool to figure out what and how much of your money is covered or not under FDIC insurance rules. fdic.gov/bank/index.html, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp provides data on all FDIC-insured institutions, including total assets and deposits and aggregated data for states, counties, and metropolitan areas. Federal Deposit Insurance Corp. 550 17th St. Northwest, Washington, D.C. 20429. FDIC.gov. If you had money in a bank that folded, they insure every account holder up to $100,000. National Credit Union Administration. 1775 Duke St. Alexandria, Virginia 22314-3428. 703-518-6330. 703-518-6480, data. NCUA.gov. Federal agency which regulates credit unions. Insurance is the accounts of failed credit unions. If your bank or credit union goes bankrupt, check to make sure your bank or credit union is covered by Federal Deposit Insurance, FDIC.gov, such that if it fails, your account is insured up to $250,000 per person per bank. Look on your statement for the FDIC or NCUA, credit union, logo displayed anywhere on the statement or near the front door of the institution building. FDIC insurance covers only deposit accounts like a saving or checking account, CD, or money market account. Even though banks sell stocks and mutual funds, these are investments. They are not covered by FDIC. Check with SIPC.org to see if stocks are covered. It's quick. If a bank goes bust, the feds are there within 2 days ready to give you your money. What usually happens is that another bank takes over. Online banks are members of the FDIC too. Check these websites to see if your bank or credit union is a member. FDIC.gov. myfdicinsurance.gov. NCUA.gov. NCUA.gov/INS. Consumer protection at banks. fdic.gov/bank/individual/failed/netbank.html, failed bank information. Cardreport.com, Consumer Credit Protection Laws. fdic.gov/consumers, Federal Deposit Insurance Commission, insures bank accounts for banks that go under. federalreserve.gov/pubs/complaints/laws.htm, how to file a consumer complaint about a bank. hsh.com/pamphlets/cons_handbook_credit.html, Federal Reserve's Guide to Consumer Credit Laws. lawyersandsettlements.com, Consumer Credit Information Protection. newyorkfed.org/banking/protection.html, Consumer Protection, Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Chapter 1. An Online Money Transfer Guide. Online Payment Services. Online payment services like PayPal, owned by eBay, offer personal and business account services. Members are vendors and customers. Money can be transferred electronically amongst them. It is a system where people, for one reason or another, usually because they don't want to use credit cards online, sign up with an e-cash company which acts like an internet bank. You deposit X number of dollars into your account, then when you make a purchase, tell the seller that the money is in your account at this particular online payment service. The seller goes to the company, pays them a fee for the transaction much like with credit cards, then gets the money. For business members, it's a simple way to accept money electronically. Online payment services are quick, easy, and inexpensive to open regardless of your credit rating or the size of your business. You can receive payment from any customer member simply by the customer sending you an email. The service works like a mini bank. The funds are deposited directly into your account. You can write checks on your money or use a debit card to withdraw money. The big disadvantage is that customers, when buying from you, are redirected to the payment service website to complete the transaction, which confuses some people who abandon the purchase. For the consumer, digital accounts make online shopping simpler, saving you the hassle of constantly filling out new order forms. You fill out one order form and it becomes the template for any other order you place with any retailer. You have money credit such that with the click of an icon, you can purchase the product without credit card hassles. nclnet.org/shopping online. sos4auctions.com, list of legitimate escrow companies. 1clickcharge3.com. achnetwork.com. americanexpress.com, aexp.com/egotblue. americanexpress.com, aexp.com/pirivatipayments. atsbank.com. authorizenet.com. binz.com. binz.com. bidpay.com. billpoint.com. brodia.com, looks for large wholesale deals. bizafe.com, security for transactions. c2it.com/send23. checkfree.com. citywallet.com. commerce.net. cybank.net. cybercash.com. cybergeld.com. digicash.com. digicash.nl. dgmark.net. digital.com/src. donet.com. ecash.com. echarge.com. ecount.com. eft.bankone.com. e-gold.com. emoneymall.com. emoneysystems.com. entrypoint.com. escrow.com. ewallet.com. firstdata.com. fv.com, First Virtual. galaxy.tradewave.com. gator.com. iconbuy.com. i-escrow.com. instabuy.com. intercoin.com. internetcash.com. internetclearing.com. epin.com. jackdo.com. mastercard.com/shoponline/e-wallets. netbell.com. netmarket.com. openmarket.com. passport.com, owned by Microsoft. paybycheck.com. payme.com. paymentnet.com. paymybills.com. paypal.com. paytrust.com. putting it up for sale. qpass.com. qwallet.com. rocketcash.com. ro.com. securepay.com. sendmoneyorder.com. shop at aol.com. squaretrade.com, settles disputes. technocash.com. tradedirect.com. tradesafe.com. turbocheck.com. ubd.com takes possession of the article before. verysign.com. visa.com/pd/ewallet. webcash.com. webtradeinsure.com. worldpay.com. x.com. Online Payment Services Canada. For Canada, the main internet money processors are ccsinc.on.ca, eposti.ca, e-xact.com, internetsecure.com, nobile.com, paradata.com, telpay.ca. Online escrow service. People are sometimes wary of sending more than $100 to a website or a seller on an auction website they don't know much about. First, check it out for complaints at bbb.org. If you're a business, offer to do business with an escrow service, a neutral third party that holds the money in exchange for a small percentage and won't release it to the seller until the buyer gives the go-ahead. 4virtualescrow.com. ableautoescrow.com, escrow for car sales. aboutscrow.com/online scrow service. auctionchecks.com. entelleliginsescrow.com. escrow.com, protects online car buyers and sellers from fraud. ftc.gov/bcp/conlany/pubs/online/auctions.htm, be suspicious of an online escrow service that cannot process its own transactions. iescrow.com. i-escrow.com. Infogranny.com, Escrow Services Resources. loanfaq.net/escrow/online_escrow_service.html. lowlender.com. nclnet.org/shoppingonline/escrowtips.htm. verysign.com. webcash.com. worldpay.com. wservices sellers/ bill paying online or by phone. For a small fee or free, these companies pay your bills for you. bills.com. checkfree.com. derivion.com. hsbcbillpay.com. discovercard.com. jackdough.com. lowermybills.com. mastercard.com. msn.com. paymybills.com. paytrust.com. quicken.com. statusfactory.com. transpointment.com. surepayroll.com. zenos.com. Chapter 2. Other ways to move money around. Email money transfers. If you have money at any bank, you can go to their website and send money to anyone who has an email address or fax number. Some of these services are free, others have a surcharge. Use these instead of sending money orders or using wire transfer services. eCount.com. PayPal.com. Internet money transactions. eCash or Internet cash is a situation where people for one reason or another, usually because they don't want to use credit cards online, sign up with an eCash company which acts like an internet bank. You deposit X number of dollars into your account, then when you make a purchase, tell the seller that the money is in your account at this particular eCash company. The seller goes to the company, pays them a fee for the transaction much like with credit cards, then gets the money. For the consumer, digital accounts make online shopping simpler, saving you the hassle of constantly filling out new order forms. You fill out one order form and it becomes the template for any other order you place with any retailer. You have money credit such that with the click of an icon, you can purchase the product without credit card hassles. 1clickcharge3.com. americanexpress.com, aexp.com/egotblue. americanexpress.com, aexp.com/pirivatipayments. atsbank.com. authorizenet.com. binz.com. bidpay.com. billpoint.com. brodia.com, looks for large wholesale deals. bizafe.com, security for transactions. c2it.com, 800-200-3841. checkfree.com. citywallet.com. commerce.net. cybank.net. cybercash.com. cybergeld.com. digicash.com. digicash.nl. dgmark.net. digital.com/src. ecash.com. echarge.com. eft.bankone.com. e-gold.com. emoneysystems.com. entrypoint.com. escrow.com. ewallet.com. firstdata.com. fv.com, First Virtual. galaxy.tradewave.com. gator.com. i-escrow.com. instabuy.com. intercoin.com. internetcash.com. epin.com. jackdough.com. mastercard.com/shoponline/e-wallets. mondex.com, unique system in Britain. netbell.com. netmarket.com. nochex.com. openmarket.com. passport.com, owned by Microsoft. payme.com. paymentnet.com. paymybills.com. paypal.com, 402-935-2050. paytrust.com. qpass.com. qwallet.com. rocketcash.com, ro.com, rsa.com, securepay.com, sendmoneyorder.com, shop@aol.com, squaretrade.com, settles disputes, turbocheck.com, verysign.com, visa.com/pd/ewallet, webcash.com, westernunion.com, worldpay.com, money order and wire services. If you run out of money, call a friend to go to MoneyGram, Western Union, or one of these other services and wire you the money. Most of these places take credit cards. Go to a local bank first and arrange to have the money sent there, or go to an American consular office, state gov, and arrange to have the money sent there. For more information, contact Department of State, Citizens Emergency Center, number 4800, 2201 C. St. N.W., Washington, D.C. 20520, 202-647-5225, 202-647-4000. State.gov. For a $15 fee, they will send money for you to someone overseas. eCount.com. ICICINRI.net, money transfers to over 180 banks in India. INTERNATIONAL-MONEYTRANSFER-CONSUMER-GUIDE-Info. American Express. American Express Tower. World Financial Center. New York, New York 10285. 212-640-2000. Amex.com. MoneyGram.com. 800 MoneyGram. 800-444-3010, US. 800-933-3278, Canada. 008006663 9472, UK, Ireland and New Zealand. 001-18006663 9472, Australia. thomascook.com. 800-287-7362, US. 888-823-4732, Canada. 01733/318 Britain. 028-90550030, Northern Ireland. 01677-1721, Ireland. Western Union. westernunion.com. 800 call cash. 800-235-0000, Canada. 0800-833-833, UK. 66/947 Ireland. 800-501-500, Australia. 800-005 New Zealand. 0860-100-031, South Africa. 07-26-15-59, Morocco. 902-11-41-89, Spain. 800-20-68-68, Portugal. Traveler's checks. Traveler's checks are alright if you redeem them at the overseas offices of the issuing company. One hidden cost most people don't know is that many traveler check cashing places charge a surcharge of up to 8%, so use your credit card when possible. Carry a few traveler checks for emergencies. You can usually buy them at your local bank. I generally prefer an ATM card. American Automobile Association. 800 AA Help. 06-247-7311, Australia. 0990-500-600, Britain. 613-247-0117, Canada. 09-377-4660, New Zealand. AAA.com. AAAworld.com. They offer members commission-free traveler checks. American Express. 800-221-7282, 888-887-8986, 800-721-9768. US and Canada. 0800-521-313, Britain. 825-1902, Australia. 0800-441-068, New Zealand. AmericanExpress.com. AEXP.com. Bank of America. 800-227-3460. 800-227-6811. 410-581-5353. Buffet.com. Citicorp Traveler Checks. 800-645-6556. 813-623-1709, collect. Citicorp.com. Mastercard.com. 800-223-9920. 800-223-7373. Thomas Cook Mastercard. 800-223-7373. 0800-622-101, UK. thomascook.com. Visa. 800-227-6811, US. 0800-895-078, UK. 800-732-1322. Visa.com. Virtual checks. There are check services which enable a business person to take the customer's check number over the phone or via fax/email, then through a modem, process it through the service, and he or his bank gets a check by mail. For the consumer, if you have a checking account, you can pay for a purchase over the phone simply by reading off the check number with this service. Checkfree.com. Checksbyphone.com. iCheck.com. Netchecks.com. Checkmaster.com/internet checks. TurboCheck.com.